In today's video, I'm going to be showing you an easy way to build out a bioactive enclosure, starting with cork, potting soil, clay balls, and Bob.
Yeah, but why are we stop motion?
Well, because I'm an idiot and I deleted all of the footage of the beginning of the video. My bad, so you had to get stuck with my bad stop motion to explain what we're doing. We are building out this dope 4x2x4 apex enclosure for Frankie 2 legs. We're gonna make it bioactive, we're gonna make it look sick for him, and we're gonna show you how to do it kind of on the cheap. Bioactive doesn't have to be super complex or super expensive. And with a little bit more work up front on Substrate, it's a lot easier for cleaning, at least in my opinion. So let's just get right into this video. The first step here is going to be adding in these clay balls. This creates a drainage layer so that when you water the plants and when there's moisture in the soil, it has some place to go and you don't end up with root rot for your plants. So Bob and I are gonna smooth this down, and then we're gonna put just some screen over it to prevent the dirt and the soil from getting into it. It's literally just the same screen that you would use in like a screen window. You can get it super cheap at Home Depot. Cut it to fit the enclosure, and then you just put it down on top of the clay balls, and then you're ready to put your soil mix on top. This was an organic topsoil I got off Amazon, and you have to add water to make it expand, kind of like you do with a lot of the cocoa chips. And it expanded a ton. It was kind of insane actually. So I'm gonna mix it around until I get to the right consistency and right moisture level. And then we'll take this and we'll just dump a ton of it into the enclosure, and then we'll spread it around on top of that screen layer that we just made. And this is what makes up the majority of the substrate, this organic soil mix. After we get the soil in, the fun part comes, at least for me, and this is figuring out how all of the branches and cork bark go in here to make it a fun and exciting enclosure for Frankie, and something that's really practical but also looks nice. Most of these branches I actually cut with a chainsaw from some trees that were dying around me, and then I sanitized them really well so that I didn't have any parasites on them. Once Bob and I figured out the right configuration, I siliconed one in, and then we had to move the enclosure off the wall so that we could screw the other one into the wall. We also reinforced that with silicone too, just to be extra safe, because we don't want that branch falling while Frankie 2 legs is trying to bask. This was a little bit of a process because I didn't want to crack the wood, so we drilled some pilot holes and then screwed it in. Then we put some tape on it for support while it dried overnight and moved the whole enclosure back. Fun fact, we moved the enclosure back and realized that the screws that went into the base actually had gone all the way into the floor and left some gnarly nail marks, which sucked. I forgot to film myself putting the plants in, but I got a bunch of plants from Dee Dee's Plants at the Reptile Breeder Show in LA recently, and so all of those went in here. Then I added some leaf litter, as well as a colony of dairy cow isopods and springtails, so that we would have a nice cleanup crew in here. And it's looking pretty good down here now.
We did it.
We did it. Enclosure build day 1, done.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It looks awesome so far. Once the tape's off and all the silicone is set, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like people make the idea of going bioactive really sound super complicated and complex.
Not at all.
And it's not.
It is super easy. And we're doing a big bioactive project at my place.
Yeah.
In the next few weeks. There will be videos out on Green Room Pythons about that. And I'm getting a lot of help because it's a bunch of cages, but not hard to do.
When you look on YouTube and stuff, you see these people like building these crazy, huge bioactive enclosures.
Yeah, paludariums and stuff. Yeah,
and you think, oh, this is really hard, but really you just need the right soil for the plants. Make sure it's not toxic or anything for whatever animal you're putting in there. Frankie is going to spend most of his time up pretty high, so we just kind of went with a nice, healthy topsoil and plants, so easy. And then obviously the cleanup crew, which is fun. I love isopods. I don't know why, but
you like seeing them.
I love seeing them crawl around and doing their thing. All right, and then come back. I guess I'll just edit this so you won't ever see it.
Oh, okay.
No, you'll see this. You'll see us talking.
Right.
But then it'll be tomorrow.
Right.
Yes.
It'll all be one video.
All be one video.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll edit in Bob sleeping, so it's gonna get weird.
Great.
Alright, the support's held overnight and all the silicone is now cured inside. So today I'm going to take off the supports, I'm going to install some grow lights inside so the plants can thrive, and we're going to put Frankie in, which is super exciting. Okay, so I got all the wiring done for the top of Frankie's cage, 2 grow lights. We got the Wilbanks heat panel there, that was there. And then underneath here, oh, we have another grow light, which will light up this area, which is gonna be really cool. We're in the final stretch. I got the top on, I got all the lights working, I got the wires hidden somewhat so they don't look like there's wires going everywhere. Last thing to do is give it a nice mist, and then we move Frankie in. All right, well that was pretty anticlimactic because Frankie's just chilling in his log, but we'll wait and see what he does. I waited a long time for Frankie to try to come out of his cork ground, but he decided to stay in it for a little while. Finally, later on that night and the next day, he came out and started making use of all these new perches and climbing areas that he now has. And it was so cool seeing him explore and try out all these new branches. I'm really happy how this build came out. Doing a bioactive wasn't that complicated or hard. It's one of those things that you invest in early, and then in the long run, I think it saves you time and money. Because cleanup is easier, you're not changing out substrate as often. Plus, in my opinion, it just looks way better, especially if you're going for that naturalistic enclosure look. It looks solid. Also, something really important to keep in mind for today's video is that all of the costs were associated with building out this large 4x2x4 enclosure from Apex Reptiles. If you're building out a smaller enclosure, your costs are gonna be way less because you have a lot less substrate, a lot less stuff that has to go in it. It's gonna be a much easier build. In fact, I'll show the difference in cost when I get the 2x2x2 enclosures for Ambrosia and Kevin. It's gonna be vastly different, but just as cool. Anyways, that's it for today. We have an awesome video coming out later this week as well. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell me what you want to see more of in the comments. Go check out Bob's channel if you don't already know Bob and Green Room Pythons. Awesome. And that's it. Stay tuned. Peace.